Hello and welcome to the Inspired live stream. Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's John Nolan here. I was just reading through the comments here. Beautiful. I mean, we got Ireland in the house. We got Canada in the house. We got Russia. We got Siberia in the house. We got Croatia. We have, of course, the United States. You know, it's just beautiful to see everyone tuning in from everywhere. Let me kick this off officially by saying we're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. Repeat it with me. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. That's the mantra of the Inspired live stream. And today I wanted to talk about something that might be known to most of you, but you don't really know where it came from. And it's quite astonishing, isn't it, when we maybe repeat something, maybe share something with others. Maybe we're living by a certain wisdom, but we don't really know where it came from. And the guy that I was showing you earlier here, I'm going to put him up here, and let's do it this way. Here we go. So his name's Reinhold Niebuhr, and you might or might not have heard of him. I mean, for some people in the United States, he's known as a Christian realist, but he wrote four lines, okay, in the original that literally saved millions of lives over the past almost 100 years now. And those four lines are a philosophy that you can build your life on. You have to actually build your life on, to be honest. But I'll tell you one thing. When I first came in touch with those four lines, it was many, many years ago. And these four lines have been translated into probably all languages, you know, that exist in the world. And they had such a tremendous impact on me that I can't even tell you how often I think about that wisdom and how often I bring them up to the forefront of my mind. As a matter of fact, whenever I have to solve something in my life, a problem, whenever I find myself, desiring to experience something in my life, something new, creating something new, it always comes to mind. I always use this wisdom. And over the years, we've created little processes so we can use it. And as a matter of fact, these four lines, if people would actually meditate on these four lines and use them as the foundational wisdom of their life, we could solve the greatest problems in the world, especially those problems that are, interrelational, where it's about where people interact with people, which are most of the problems anyways. So when you hear those four lines, you say, I heard them before, right? I heard them before, but I want to share them with you. And they might not appear as four lines here on the screen, but they were four lines. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. You all might know this as the serenity prayer. And there are many little versions of it and changes to them. But this, in essence, is the serenity prayer. And it was adopted by AA. And, it's one of their founding or foundational principles in the process of healing from addiction, right? So let me just read it one more time to you. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. This is a big one, okay? And we're going to get into all of this. Courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I will, a little later in the live stream, I will share one more line that I added to it that is kind of like, for me, it's like as we go through this great awakening, there are new dimensions that we're beginning to, see and understand. And so I added something to it. But for right now, I want to ponder on those lines and how they changed my life and how I could methodically and in a practical way actually put them to use. Because here's the thing. These lines sound like a great prayer. Oh, God, please do grant me this, grant me the serenity, grant me the wisdom. But really, they are so practical, because if you take them apart and if you look at them properly, you will find the solution to the things that keep you up at night. You will find a solution to the worries. You will find a solution to your greatest fears. It's all in this little prayer. That's why I love it so much. And the way that I look at things, I always divide things in two categories. I'm going to show this to you, right? And they apply to the things I need to solve in my life and the things that I want in my life, right? So if you took a notebook here, for example, most people can relate to this, right? Most people can relate when you take this notebook and this little page. There are two things that people struggle with: problems they want to solve, right? Everybody, I mean, everybody has some sort of problems in life, and things they want in their life, right? They might want more beautiful relationships. They might want to travel, more abundance. They might want health. I mean, just, it doesn't matter what it is that you desire, but those are kind of like the two things that people spend most of their time on: problems to solve and things they want. It's not a hard one to figure out. How does the serenity prayer come into this? Okay, so for me and for us, and in the work that we do with people, we must clearly distinguish between the things that we can do in any given moment, right? And between the things that we currently don't have a solution for, or they're out of our power, right? The things I cannot change. I cannot change. That to me is a very important distinction. So here's what I do. If I find myself struggling or if I'm confused or whatever, I take a notebook, I put a red line in the middle of that page, and on the left side, I put me. And on the right side of that page, I put God, creator. You can put source. You can put whatever that name for the omnipresent energy that creates everything that we see, right? The tides, the sunrise, the sunset, the air, the oxygen, the beautiful plants, the birds, everything that we really don't know the recipe to creating, right? It's this beautiful, omnipresent, loving energy, God, source, that creates everything and that can take care of everything, apparently. Okay, so here's what I do. I put the me and I put God on the other side, and then I go through, let's say, the list of problems or desires that I have, right? And I do this. On the left side, I say, okay, you know what, I want to pray more or meditate more, or I want to get healthier, I want to find a different job, different professions. I go through all the things, my whole list of things that I want to solve, or my whole list of things that I want in life, and I divide them up by what can I do? What have I control over? Do I have control over more meditation and prayer in my life? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's just a decision to make. Do I have control over eating healthier? Yes, I do. I do. I can make that choice. I don't need anything from outside for that. Um, can I start looking for a new job if that's what I want, or a new profession? Yes, I can. Can I put the energy into that? Yes, I can. Okay, so I can do that. Um, and on the other side of the page, I put the things that I currently don't have a solution for, and I don't know how to go about it. For example, there are in some families, there are family disputes, let's say over an inheritance or something like that, inheritance. So, something that I don't know how to solve currently. It's like it's keeping me up at night, but I don't know how to solve this. So I go, okay, I'm going to give this over to the creator, the great creator that makes everything. And I say, thank you, thank you, thank you for providing the solution. And if there's anything I need to do, please show me, right? So I give it over. What's another example? A large sum of money. Let's say a huge bill comes in, or you owe something or whatever, and you currently don't have that, and you don't know how to get that money, right? You don't know. Your job doesn't pay enough, or you just don't know. It's a common situation. We've all been there. Trust me, we've all been there. So when I can't find the solution for that, or when I can't seem to find a way, I literally, I give it over in a little ritual. I write it down. I give it over to the creator. Say, creator, God, thank you. Thank you for providing the solution for this. Thank you for your assistance in this. If there's anything I need to do, please show me. But you have to be really serious about it. You have to be just as serious as you are about the things that you can control and actually doing them. You have to be just as serious in giving it over to God, the things that you currently cannot do. That to me is so, so important, because only then will it really have power. If you give gratitude for a solution that's not yet there, but you give it already, trust me, it will come. What's another that I put there? Okay, so for example, some people are starting a new business and they need a business license, whatever, all that worldly stuff, right? And it's not in your control how fast that will come, or help from external sources, or where you need other people to do something. And it's not in your control whether to do it today or tomorrow in a year, right? So you just go, you give it over to God and said, I did everything I could. Now I don't have a solution for this, or I can't control how fast these people will work. So thank you, God, for your assistance with this. And if there's anything that I can do to help, please show me. That's all. That's all. And so you can do this with anything in your life that you currently do not have a path or a solution for. You put that on the right side of that page, and you just, with gratitude, you turn it over to God, and you trust that if God can make this, the sunrise and sundown and tides, and put all this beautiful, the beautiful earth together, and created nature, created everything, created us, surely God can help with the solution in this. And this is how I go about these things, because it then changes my whole outlook. Because then when I do wake up at night and when I think of that particular problem and I go, well, will it help if I lie awake for 2 more hours? I still don't have a solution because this is out of my power. I just go, thank you, God. Thank you. I turned this over to you. Let me reaffirm this. I'm turning this over to you. Let me know if there's anything I need to do, and I will do it. So then all of a sudden, it's like a mental decluttering. It's like a spiritual decluttering, because you let go and give over to things you cannot change, right? That's the serenity prayer. I cannot change this. Thank you for allowing me to accept that I currently cannot change it. It doesn't mean it's unchangeable. It just means I can't change it currently. But there surely is a power that can. And so then you shift over and put your attention and your focus on the list of things that you can take care of. You can go out for a walk and exercise more. You can dedicate more time to prayer and meditation. You can, at least if you can't currently have a garden or whatever, well, you can start planting something in a pot, right? So there are a million little things that we can do every day to change and improve our lives. And I want to read the serenity prayer one more time to you. Actually, let me go back here so you can read it with me. So just so you know how powerful this is and how it applies to the process that I just showed you. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, right? And this is so important, the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, right? Go right on that list of the things I have control over, and wisdom to know the difference. And here, the wisdom is understanding that if I worry and fret about things that I have no control over, I'm giving all this energy away. I'm giving all this attention away. I'm losing all this momentum, because no matter how much I think about it, I still won't be able to solve it because it's out of my control. And so that wisdom, then you pull it back into the present moment, and you invest the wisdom, the energy, the time into the things that you can do. And this is, to me, the foundation for the work that Christine and I do here, the work that Christine and I do at our retreats. I'll talk a little bit about them in a moment, but it's the foundation to first distinguish between what you have control over in your life and what you don't have. You don't have control over other people. I mean, for the most part, yes, if they're your employees, yes, to a certain extent, sure. But really, if you really go into the depths of it, we don't have control over other people. And so when we can finally draw that line and realize it's out of my power, oh, this is in my power, we empower ourselves to actually bring and create solutions in our lives. And I always invite the creator in and thank for the assistance on both sides of that page, right? But here's what I firmly believe in, that I'm a parent, right? We just talked about this with a nice couple down the road. We met during our walk. As a parent, when our children, they were young and they came to me and they said, Dad, can you do this for me? Like on a regular basis, just, can you do this for me? And I go, well, can you do this for, are you able to do it? Like, do you know how to do it? And they say, yeah, but I don't want to. I go, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that because you're able to do it. So go do it. But if there's anything you can't do or you actually need help with because you're not able to yet, I will gladly come and help you with that. It's like I was a hard ass every time with it. But as a matter of principle, I didn't really interfere with things they could do for themselves. And I helped with things they yet couldn't do for themselves. And that to me as a parent, so if I look at God as a parent, right, as a parent that gave us free will, I would kind of look at the things I would probably, in my human limited view, I would say, hey, well, you can do all of this yourself, but I'm surely willing to help you with the things you can't. So I do think there is such a thing. I don't want to call it divine favor because it's really an energetic thing as you attract, more of this energy. But I do think that it is highly empowering and energizing when we actually start doing the things that we can do and creating the changes that we can, right? Finally, getting off that fast food train and start eating healthier and exercising and actually honoring the temple. We can do that. We don't, yeah, sure, you can ask for help, but you can do that yourself. You have the ability. And I think we then enter this state where we attract more of that energy. You could call it divine favor. So this is really, really important. And here's what I would add, and what I add to the Serenity Prayer is it's sort of like, grant me the courage and strength. Here, listen to this. Grant me the courage and strength to change the things I can no longer accept, right? Because here we go into this greater work that we're all doing. Grant me the strength and the courage to change the things I can no longer accept. And mainly, like myself, right? In myself, are there things that I was tolerating? Were there habits or were there thoughts or were there practices or whatever in my life that I tolerated for myself that I know weren't for my highest good, or that I know that weren't really an expression of my pure intention? Like I was, for example, for some people that's drinking alcohol, even though they might not be addicted or anything, but still, it's like, okay, do I really need this in my life? Does it help me? Does it connect me with spirit? So grant me the strength to change the things I can no longer accept in my life, right? I can no longer accept of myself to do this. This is to me an important thing, but it also, because when we go beyond, right, beyond my life, what's in my life, and when we actually go into service to others, we look at things in this world as a family, as a community, that are unacceptable, right? We look at things that are happening in our own communities that are unacceptable. And so far, maybe we haven't gotten involved. We haven't done anything about it. We didn't feel like we should, or whatever the reason was. But grant me the strength to change the things I can no longer accept. That to me is going into service, right? That to me is going and giving my time to a greater good, to the greater good of all. So that's what I would add. And perhaps if you think about it long enough, it's already implied in the original Serenity Prayer. But for me, it's an extra line. And by no means do I want to say that the prayer isn't beautiful as it was written. And I appreciate it so greatly. And I know so many of you appreciate it too, and have probably used it in one form or another. So one more time, somebody's saying, hey, what's this talk about? It's about a guy named, actually, it's not really about him. It's about the prayer he wrote, Reinhold Niebuhr. And it's about the Serenity Prayer. I'm putting this up here. So imagine if we would teach this as a principle to every child in the world. And actually, we should go and teach it to everyone who ever wants to be a public servant, right? Teach it to anyone in the world, really, how our focus would shift. Imagine how the conversation would shift. So often you see conversations in the public arena that no one has any control over, just topics that are being, and fear that is being propagated, especially around topics you have no control over. So this, to me, the Serenity Prayer is foundational, especially when you combine it with this little process that I put here. And I would encourage you, save this video, really save it, come back to it, because this process is foundational. We use it, as I said, in our retreats. It's one of the first things we talk about. By the way, you are invited if you want to come. There are still some spots left. We're more than 3 months out, I believe, and we're spots are filling up. But it's called the YATO retreat, YATO, And I'll actually, what I'll do is I'll share the link with you right here as we are talking. So you can, you can go look it up. Let me just find it here. Hold on as I'm speaking. So the YATO retreat stands for You Are the One. We do 2 a year. And it's one of our favorite things to do. I'll also put it in the video description and in the comments. Um, the reason why we started this retreat was actually during the COVID days, because we wanted to come together with people, not online, not in a live stream, not in a virtual meeting, but in the real world, physically come together, sit in a room, and guide people through experiences that will allow them to get in touch with that strongest, deepest, most authentic part of themselves. You could call it spirit, higher self, whatever you want to call it, but that's really getting in touch with that, feeling something you could call purpose, feeling a deeper connection, and realizing if there's anything that's holding me back, here's how I can overcome it, right? And the first experience was already very, very powerful, but it's only getting better. And the groups of people that are showing up are so dedicated and so inspired to do this. We go into deep meditations, we go into practices where we really realize those hidden patterns, right? Those hidden beliefs, those truths that are deeply buried in us that we usually don't realize. And we're really, really creating shift energy, transformational shift energy over 3.5 days together, 4 days. Uh, it's just a wonderful experience. Christine and I are changed every time, right? And you can go, if you go to the link here, I'll keep sharing it here. If you go to the link, then you can read the testimonials of people that have been there. There's a shift that is created, and I'm confident to say that if you show up for yourself for this retreat, if you decide, right, to come, if you really show up, I mean, if you come with your whole presence and you really show up, then you will be changed. You will change yourself. You will transform yourself during those days, through these practices and through these meditations. And I don't believe you'll walk away the same person that you were. I can truly say that. But it's for us, it's humbling and honoring and just beautiful to be able to guide a group of people through these 3.5 days. There's such a loving energy that's created. It's like a family energy that's created. It's just absolutely a wonderful experience. And if there's only two things that I kind of, sometimes people say, why do you say there's two stipulations? You want to turn people away? I said, no, I don't want to turn people away. You are invited. There is a limited group size, but as long as there are spots, you are invited. But there is a reason why I say there's two stipulations as to whom we invite to come. You have to feel an inner nudge. You have to feel a strong inner pull. You have to feel a strong inner yes, right? That to me is the readiness, okay? If it's a 50%, that's not for you, because we don't do 50%. If it's 80, it's still not for you. We don't do 80%. We do 100. And because we do 100, right? We want everybody that shows up to want 100% too. That's all. Just full readiness. Yes, I feel a clear inner yes. This speaks to me. And if it doesn't, no hard feelings. Absolutely. And the second thing is, you can't take any mind-altering drugs, legal or illegal. It doesn't work with the processes that we do. It won't work if you are taking such drugs. This is not a judgment call. This is just kind of a disclaimer. So if you are taking mind-altering drugs, as I said, legal or illegal, like Xanax or whatever those they're all called, this is not for you. It won't work. That's it. But if you are ready, if you feel a strong inner yes, check it out. I'll share the link again in the description. I'll share it in the pinned comment right after this, and check it out and see if this speaks to you. We would love to have you. It will happen in a beautiful place on the West Coast, in Florida, in the Panhandle. It's a beautiful place that not a lot of people know about. It's our own little piece of paradise, and energetically something very, very special. So we can't wait. It's happening in October 5th through October 8th. And we cannot wait. There are always repeat offenders. I always jokingly say repeat offenders, people that come back for a second or a third time. And we're so honored, that people would come and do this experience all over again with us. What a blessing. So yeah, that was it. And I hope you got out of this live stream here today the essence that you, with this beautiful serenity prayer, have a tool in your hand that it will actually allow you to create much more structure in your problem solving and your co-creating, and if you want to call it manifesting or pulling things in your life. And the structure is what we all need. We haven't been taught, so don't beat yourself up. We just didn't know, but now we do know. Now we can do better. And as I said, save this, come back to this. If you forget how the process works, come back. It really helps. It's really something that you can model your problem solving and your co-creating after. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We love you so much. We appreciate you. And we'll be back with you again very, very soon.